12-year-old Josh Pinsky. This movie's relatable American kid. The movie opens with Josh presenting a rushed, incomplete history project to his class. Josh's paper teaches his class about a test pilot named Sonic, who was killed in a plane explosion while attempting to break sound barriers. Yeah, this movie was gonna open with that. Just to warn you, the plot of this movie is absolutely wacky, and no, I'm not making any of this up. As Josh clearly rushed his assignment about the cleverly named late pilot, his teacher was not happy. Josh is sentenced to rewrite the paper by tomorrow, or else he'll get in serious trouble. Now, Josh is going through a lot at the moment. His parents recently split up and don't pay much attention to him, he isn't doing well in school, and he's all around a pretty awkward kid. He does have one escape though, Sonic the Hedgehog. More specifically, his favorite game, Sonic Extreme for the Sega Saturn. That's right, sometime during development, it was realized that this movie could be a tie-in to promote Sonic Extreme, which at the time was the next big Sonic game. Sonic Extreme was, as I'm sure most of you know, never released. The history of that game is a whole slew of devastating stories on its own, so I won't get into it, but knowing all of the chaos that happened behind the scenes with that game makes this movie pitch so much stranger in hindsight. Anyway, Josh is picked up at school by his dad, named Hal, who is a scientific genius, always making great breakthroughs in his field, though he's currently unemployed. His most recent project is an artificial intelligence computer that uses holograms to project whatever you want into the real world. Hal calls it XRI, which stands for Extremely Radical Intelligence. Later, while his dad's not home, Josh goes up to the device and asks it to write his history paper on Sonic for him. It doesn't reply. To show it what he means, Josh then hooks up his Sega Saturn to it and puts in his copy of Sonic Extreme, available holiday 1996. While playing the game, bizarre things start happening. Sonic, not the test pilot, the Hedgehog, stops responding to Josh's controls, and through the power of the XRI, realizes he has a will of his own. And then, and this is how it's explained in the treatment, Josh discovers a glitch in the game, which Sonic uses as a gateway to the real world. Sonic then jumps out of Sonic Extreme and enters our world. In the treatment for the movie, Sonic is described as a 3D CGI guy in the real world. Considering this was in the works in the mid-90s, you can imagine how amazing this would have looked. Now in Josh's apartment, Sonic begins wrecking havoc as he's not used to the real world. In the middle of the chaos, Robotnik escapes the game as well, and that's where the real plot of the movie begins. Sonic chases after Robotnik but is unable to stop him. Sonic quickly discovers he's getting weaker the longer he stays in the real world, giving the film a bit of tension. After that shocking realization, Josh's dad comes home. Oh no! Sonic hides, but the XRI is completely destroyed and Hal is not happy. Josh's mom Lisa shows up too, and the two start arguing. Josh is taken home to his mom's place, leaving Sonic behind. The next morning, Josh is woken up by Sonic, who I guess somehow just found his mom's house. Sonic is noticeably extremely tired, and he tells Josh that if they want even a chance at defeating Robotnik, he needs to get his powers back, and the only way to obtain that is through the Chaos Emeralds. The two then discover that, yeah okay, the Chaos Emeralds actually exist on Earth. Somehow this was never discovered before, and it took a kid and a blue hedgehog to find them, but okay. Apparently, the emeralds are hidden not inside special stages, but inside ordinary Earth rocks, with the treatment saying, you just have to know which ones to crack open. This sounds like a really exciting setup for a scene where Sonic and Josh just start smashing rocks, which, do not worry, is what actually happens, but somehow they do manage to find one. Using it, Sonic gains his strength back, but fans of Super Sonic shouldn't get too excited because he doesn't show up in this story. After seeing what it did to Sonic, Josh is curious of the Emerald's powers, and asks Sonic for, a taste of it. For some reason, Sonic agrees, and Josh gains some temporary superpowers. He uses those powers to finish his history paper in seconds, but when he asks Sonic for more, Sonic refuses, saying he needs to master his powers first, whatever that means. Meanwhile, you may be wondering what Robotnik's master plan in this movie was. Well, it's to build a theme park. Yes, this is one of the first instances of Robotnik Land appearing in a piece of Sonic media, or at least, sorta. See, Robotnik somehow sets up his own corporation, called Shady Corporation, which he uses to purchase an abandoned theme park. He then renames it to Botnik Land Amusement Park. From that, Robotnik's main goal in this movie actually seems pretty harmless. He just wants his own theme park. Nothing too malicious. He just wants to run an amusement park. Robotnik has also discovered that the emeralds are here on Earth, and he finds a group of school bullies, presumably Josh's bullies, who he turns into robots, which are creatively called bully bots. They then bury underground and start smashing every rock they find, desperately looking for the emeralds. Robotnik then runs into Hal, and asks him to be the park's main research and development designer. I'm not entirely sure if Robotnik was meant to be a cool 3D CGI guy like Sonic, but I imagine he was, which makes Hal agreeing to work with him make almost no sense. Just imagine a scene in this movie where this adult scientist agrees, does the paperwork, fills out everything to work with this CGI ball guy. Man, we really missed out on the high quality cheese that would have been this movie. Now with Hal and XRI on his side, Robotnik makes the best theme park in the world. Using the XRI, Robotnik develops a virtual reality ride that draws in kids everywhere. Robotnik's dream of building a theme park has been reached. Kids all over town are flocking to Botnik Land. Sonic and Josh then go to investigate, and unfortunately, they quickly realize that not all is well in Botnik Land. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Botnik Land, owned by Shady Corporation, is actually a ploy to roboticize the youth of America. In the plot twist that film scholars are still baffled by, it turns out that Robotnik is using his rides to turn the kids into robots, whom he refers to as Kinderbots. These robots once again have one goal in mind: find the Chaos Emeralds. So now we got Bullybots and Kinderbots, which is all bad news for our heroes, Sonic and Josh. The duo investigate the park further, and discover that Robotnik plans to do even more nefarious things with the XRI. This is probably his evilest plan yet. Get this, he plans to use the Chaos Emeralds to program XRI to capture the world's landmarks and convert them into virtual replicas, and then use those for profit. So that's why it's called Wonders of the World. Wait, this is the big reveal of the movie? Really? Oh no, Sonic, look out! Robotnik's gonna turn Mount Rushmore into a 3D model, stop him! Sonic and Josh attempt to stop Robotnik, but Sonic is even weaker now. Sonic ends up being captured by the Bullybots, and Josh barely escapes. Alright, we're getting to the end of this, and okay, the climax of this movie sounds like it would have revolutionized film. I'm not kidding, this movie would have been the end of cinema as we know it. Okay, so, the movie's climax was to be that Josh goes and rescues Sonic, but then uses the XRI to transport Sonic, Robotnik, and himself back into Sonic Extreme. So basically, we got Sonic, Josh, and Robotnik battling it out in Jade Gully's Zone, or whatever location they would have picked from the game, and that's where the final battle was to take place. Sonic, now having all of his energy back, swiftly defeats Robotnik, and he flees. With Robotnik defeated, Sonic tells Josh that he needs to go home, and he needs to stay in the game world, leaving Sonic behind. Josh realizes that if Sonic was in the real world, there'd be no hero in the game world. I imagine this would have led to the most touching and heartbreaking scene in film history, as Josh says goodbye to his new friend Sonic, knowing once he's back in the real world, he'll never see him again. Josh turns away, holding back the tears, slowly leaving Sonic Extreme, coming holiday 1996. It's not all sad though. Josh returns home and reunites with his parents. The film ends with Josh playing Sonic Extreme one more time. He tells his dad that he'll remove XRI from the game, but before he does, Sonic stops moving, turns to the screen, and winks at Josh. And that's the story of Sonic the Hedgehog: Wonders of the World.